Think back to when you were a kid. A single school year felt endless. Summer holidays felt like they lasted forever. Waiting 1 week for your birthday felt almost impossible. But now, weeks seem to disappear. Months pass before you even notice them. Christmas arrives, and somehow it feels like you were just celebrating the last one. But time itself hasn't changed. A minute is still 60 seconds. A day is still 24 hours. So if time isn't actually moving faster, why does it feel like it is? The answer has less to do with clocks and much more to do with your brain, because your experience of time is shaped by attention, memory, emotion, and how familiar the world around you has become. And as those things change throughout your life, your perception of time changes with them. Your brain doesn't have one perfect clock constantly counting every second. Instead, it builds your sense of time using information from different systems throughout the brain. This is why 5 minutes can feel completely different depending on what you're doing. Sit in a room with nothing to do, and 5 minutes can feel painfully long. Spend 5 minutes playing your favorite game or talking to someone you like, and it can disappear instantly. The actual amount of time is identical. What changes is your attention. When you're constantly checking the clock, you notice every moment passing. When you're completely absorbed in something, you stop paying attention to time and it seems to speed up. But something strange happens when you look back. A boring day can feel extremely slow while you're living it, yet incredibly short in your memory. And that's because your brain doesn't remember time the same way a clock measures it. When you look back at your life, your brain uses memories to reconstruct what happened. Imagine 2 weeks. During the first week, you wake up at the same time every day. You take the same route to work. You see the same people. You eat similar meals. You come home, you sleep, then you repeat it. During the second week, you travel somewhere completely new. You explore a new city. You try different foods. You meet new people, you get lost, you see things you've never seen before. Both weeks contain exactly 7 days, but when you look back, the second week can feel much longer. Your brain has far more distinctive memories attached to it, and this may help explain why childhood seems so long. When you're young, almost everything is new. Your first day at school, your first sleepover, your first roller coaster, your first holiday you can remember, your first time swimming, your first close friendship. Even ordinary experiences are unfamiliar because you haven't lived long enough for them to become ordinary. Your brain is constantly processing new information and creating new memories. Childhood is filled with firsts, and firsts stand out. Then you get older. Gradually, fewer things are completely new. You've traveled the same roads hundreds of times. You've walked into thousands of shops. You've eaten the same meals. You've repeated the same morning routine so many times that you barely need to think about it. Wake up, check your phone, shower, get dressed, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, repeat. Your brain becomes extremely efficient at processing familiar experiences. It already knows what to expect, so it doesn't need to pay attention to every tiny detail. That efficiency is useful, but it also means repetitive periods of your life can produce fewer distinctive memories. When you look back, entire weeks can seem compressed together. Think about a journey you make regularly. Can you clearly remember that exact journey from 3 Tuesdays ago? Probably not. It happened. Your brain processed the road and everything around you. But unless something unusual happened, there was little reason to preserve that specific journey as an important memory. Now imagine that on one particular morning, a huge tree blocked the road. You had to stop Everyone got out, police arrived, you took a completely different route. Months later, you might still remember that morning. The unusual event broke the pattern. Your brain noticed. Novelty makes moments stand out. This is why periods of major change can feel unusually long in memory. Starting a new job, moving house, beginning university, traveling overseas, meeting someone new, learning a difficult skill. Everything requires more attention because your brain doesn't already know what to expect. Think about the beginning of a holiday. You arrive somewhere unfamiliar, new streets, new buildings, different food, different people. Your brain is absorbing information constantly. After only a few days, it can feel like you've been there much longer, but stay there long enough to develop a routine. And time often starts speeding up again. The place hasn't changed, your brain has. There's another interesting explanation involving proportion. When you're 5 years old, 1 year represents 20% of your entire life. When you're 20, 1 year represents only 5%. At 50, 1 year represents just 2%. So as you age, each individual year becomes a smaller fraction of everything you've experienced. Your brain probably isn't literally calculating these percentages. And this idea doesn't explain everything about time perception, but it may help explain why a year can feel enormous to a child and relatively small to an adult. Emotion can also completely distort time. Think about a frightening moment. Maybe you nearly fell, or another car suddenly pulled in front of you. For a split second, everything can seem to happen in slow motion. Intense emotional events receive enormous attention and often create unusually detailed memories. When you later reconstruct the event, so much information is packed into such a short period that it can feel longer than it actually was. But enjoyable experiences can do the opposite. Spend hours laughing with friends, playing a game, or doing something you love, and suddenly the night is over. Psychologists often describe extreme absorption in an activity as flow. You might experience it while playing sport, drawing, editing, gaming, making music, or working on something you genuinely enjoy. Your attention becomes completely focused on what you're doing. You stop checking the clock, distractions disappear, you think 30 minutes have passed, then realize it's been 3 hours. Time never changed. Your attention did. Technology can make this even stronger. One video becomes another. One post becomes another. One notification leads somewhere else. You can spend 2 hours scrolling and feel like 20 minutes passed, but later, how much of those 2 hours can you actually remember? Often, very little. This creates an almost perfect recipe for making time disappear. Your attention is constantly occupied in the moment, but very few strong memories are created afterward. So, can you actually slow life down? You can't slow the clock, but you may be able to change how long periods of your life feel when you remember them. One of the simplest ways is novelty. Give your brain things it cannot completely predict. Visit somewhere you've never been. Learn a new skill. Take a different route. Try a different activity. Meet new people. Change parts of your routine. You don't need to make your entire life chaotic. Routine is useful, but if every week becomes an exact copy of the previous one, your memories can start blending together. Another way is simply paying attention. Think about how often you experience something while mentally being somewhere else. You eat while watching something. You walk while checking your phone. You talk to someone while thinking about what you need to do later. Your body is there, but your attention isn't, and attention is one of the first steps toward forming strong memories. Sometimes making life feel fuller is as simple as actually noticing it. Look around, notice where you are, pay attention to the people you're with, give your brain something worth remembering, and this reveals something strange about time. There are almost two versions of it. There's the time you experience while something is happening, and the time you remember after it's over. They don't always agree. A boring week can feel painfully slow while you're living it, then seem like nothing when you look back. A holiday can fly by while you're enjoying it, yet feel enormous in your memory because so much happened. Maybe that's why childhood summers seemed endless. They weren't actually longer. You were experiencing the world with a brain that hadn't seen most of it before. Every day contained something unfamiliar. Every year represented a huge part of your life, and every new experience created another marker in your memory. You can't become a child again, but you can give your brain something childhood had. Naturally, novelty, learn things you're terrible at, go somewhere unfamiliar, break your routine occasionally, create experiences that separate one week from another, and most importantly, actually pay attention while they're happening, because one day, today will be a memory too. Time doesn't suddenly start moving faster as you age. The seconds continue passing at exactly the same rate. What changes is you. Your attention changes, your routines change, your memories change, your brain becomes more familiar with the world. And as more of life becomes predictable, the years can begin to blur together. So maybe the secret to making life feel longer isn't finding more time. Maybe it's giving the time you already have more moments worth remembering.